Whether you're into podcasts about ghastly crimes or hip-hop rhymes, there's always something new to discover on Spotify. With a mix of originals and many of the world's most popular shows, listening to podcasts on Spotify is easy. Just open the app, tap Browse, dive into their growing library, subscribe to your favorites, including our entire archive, so you'll never miss a show. You can also download podcasts for these moments when you're up in the air or going underground. Podcasts on Spotify are streaming right now. Go check them out.
Welcome to the Fantasy Footballers Podcast, coming to you from the Playdraft Studios with your hosts, Andy Holloway, Jason Moore, and Mike Wright.
Welcome in. The fun is about to begin.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Wednesday, December
Man, you broke the rhyme chain.
13th, 2017. Look, ever since the Dak rhyme experiment, we need to tread lightly on people's ability to comprehend what we say. Because that was
This is a fair point.
Yeah, that's a fair point. So we have a great show for you today. We'll get into the Thursday night game, get you ready for that. Week 14 just ahead of us, and we've got news and notes on the show today. We'll get into the mailbag, answer your questions, and we have Pump the Brakes. So it's going to be a great one. It's going to be great. And you know, let's just start it off.
O'Reilly.
Auto Parts.
Ow!
Whoa, Jason.
Sorry about
Wow.
that.
You brought it.
All right.
You got to bring it.
Kicking it off with Pump the Brakes with O'Reilly Auto Parts. Jason, who are you pumping the brakes on this fine week 14?
As I looked through
15. Week 15.
Yeah, week 15.
2013.
Time is not functioning for me.
Time doesn't exist, Andy, so
That's
you're
true.
fine.
Come on, catch up.
Is that a Jim Carrey?
I think that
Sounds like something Jim Carrey would say.
Sure.
So
when I looked through for the semifinal week, and I was trying to find, defensive matchups that were difficult or players that might be too high from last week, I kept going back and back to the same thing, which is I really didn't want to play against Philadelphia this week. I feel like their defense has been unbelievable, and not only have they been good, and they're still in a fight for what is probably even more important now as home field advantage through the playoffs. They've lost their star quarterback, and we've seen this in the past. When you lose a star player, the team rallies. The team gets up for that next game. And so they're playing the New York Giants this week in New York, and I am pumping the brakes on the New York Giants. I'm pumping it on Gallman. I'm pumping it on Shepard. I'm even pumping it on Evan Ingram. I think this is going to be a very, very difficult game. Over the last 6 weeks, the Eagles have been the number one team against the tight end. They've been top 5 against all positions. I don't think this is going to be a good game for any New York Giant. So that's where I'm giving the brake pump.
Mike, you're pump the brakes. It hurts me.
I know.
I feel like I have to play him this week. But go ahead.
And there could be people out there that you have to play him, but I am setting the bar very low for this fella, and that is DeMarco Murray, running back from the Titans. And I get it. A lot of people, if you're not fully tuned in, paying attention, which if you're listening to this podcast, you are. San Francisco was a cupcake matchup early on in the season. You wanted to play the 49ers because their running defense was awful. But over the last month, San Francisco was allowing just 3.03 yards per carry, and that's against fellas like Jordan Howard and Lamar Miller. In that same time, DeMarco Murray has been running for about 2.83 yards per carry. Now, of course, Murray can score a touchdown and save the fantasy day, but if you don't get a touchdown from Murray, I think you're going to be super disappointed.
Would you play Murray or would you play Kerwin Williams?
I would. Projections are not fully complete, but my gut says I would play Kerwin Williams.
So, and just to speak to your point, the 49ers, who have been since 2016 one of the worst teams against running backs possible, it's usually, start your guys, light them up. Do you know where they rank giving up fantasy points over the last 6 weeks, Mike?
I'm going to go top 3.
you would get it right because they are third.
Nice.
They are not giving up a whole lot of points over the last month and a half against running backs. So I can see that. But I do agree because of the volume, you might be in a situation where you need to start
Murray
DeMarco.
last week, he was in on 47 of 60 snaps.
Yeah, he
plays.
plays.
So he tempts you
And Coach
with
Mularkey,
that kind of utilization. Now, would you play Mixon coming back from the concussion against Minnesota in Minnesota, or would you play DeMarco Murray?
that's brutal.
Asking for a friend.
I would I'd probably play Murray. I don't know. Like I
That's
said,
where I'm at.
Projections are not
So
complete.
you're pumping him on DeMarco Murray,
Yep.
and look, you can kind of pump him on DeMarco Murray all year long. So while if you went into ESPN and you look at the matchup, San Francisco on the year is 30th against
Right.
fantasy running backs. So it looks like a juicy matchup, and what we're saying is it's not. It's not anymore. I'm going to pump the brakes on Keelan Cole, wide receiver for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the deal. I got a tweet this morning saying, hey, do you start D.D. Westbrook or do you start Keelan Cole? Now, Keelan Cole scored last week, big touchdown, been emerging a little bit. Third in the league when it comes to yards per reception, okay? He's a deep threat. Big play opportunity, but the volume for Keelan Cole isn't there to sustain the hype. And so if you're out there looking for a start this week, you might be tempted to play him. You might be tweeting me saying D.D. or Keelan. I'm telling you, go strong on the D.D. Westbrook side. He's more of the volume player. He's got more natural talent. And so I'm pumping the brakes on Keelan Cole. Yes, he could make a big play, but if he doesn't, he could also give you like a 1-point fantasy week, and that would be my concern with Keelan Cole. So the Giants, DeMarco Murray, Keelan Cole, that was Pump the Brakes with O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every single day. Let's jump into the news.
News and notes from around the league.
It's juicy.
I'll hit the pause button there and just remind people they can follow us on Twitter at the FF Ballers. And you can go to footclanvote.com.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, how much time is left, Mike?
Till Friday.
So footclanvote.com, you get the opportunity to vote for us in the Best Social Media Award. It's a 1-second click.
Yeah, it won't take much long. You could have done it by the time we started talking about it. You could be complete right now.
You could have done it 5 times now.
Incredible.
That's all
Per
it
device.
takes. Yeah.
No. And then shopballers.com if you want some fantasy footballers gear. The promo code is Rudolph. And we will be having a 2017 Foot Clan title t-shirt very soon, within the next couple of weeks, to celebrate those of you that take home a hashtag Foot Clan title. So without further ado, let's get into the headliner right here. Via Instagram, Aaron Rodgers announced he's been medically cleared to return and will start this week against Carolina.
Pick him up. Pick up Jordy. You never let go of Devontae Adams, but I am completely and utterly willing to start Aaron Rodgers and Jordy Nelson this week. That's where I stand. Aaron Rodgers has been practicing the last few weeks. He's been throwing for weeks. He's looked great. The reports say he's looked great in practice. He's ready. He was gunning and trying to angle to get out there to play. I don't worry about it. And you might say, but Jason, what about Carolina? They're this really good defense. And you know what? Carolina does have a solid defense. But over the last 6 weeks, the last month and a half, they haven't been the defense that we've all been expecting them to be. They're 28th against quarterbacks, 32nd, dead last against wide receivers as far as fantasy points given up. They have not been shutting people down recently. This is a must-win for Aaron Rodgers, who's got something to prove coming back from this injury. I'm a believer, and it was like last week. I believed in Russell Wilson because
you did.
I believe in Russell. I'm not worried about the matchup. Aaron Rodgers is that type of player. This is the time of year when I'm going to put my chips on those guys.
Yeah, it would have been nice if you had dropped Aaron Rodgers in our Dynasty League so I could have grabbed him.
Yeah,
Jay.
in the Dynasty.
I could use a replacement for
I believe what you mean is it would have been nice if Mike had let me win that last game and get my incredibly great team in the playoffs.
Thank goodness.
Oh, my bad.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, big implications for Jordy.
That's the bigger question for me is Jordy, because Aaron Rodgers, I know a lot of people say, do I play this guy or do I play Aaron Rodgers? I'm with Jason that the majority of those names, it's going to be Aaron Rodgers. I spit upon the matchup for Aaron Rodgers here, but Jordy, those first 5 weeks with Aaron Rodgers before he broke the collarbone against Minnesota, in that time, 6 touchdowns, and that included a game week 2 where he got knocked out immediately. So essentially, Jordy Nelson has played 4 games with Aaron Rodgers and scored 6 touchdowns. So your confidence level, Jason, it shoots right back up. He is top 10, top 15.
He will be no lower than wide receiver 24. So I wouldn't put him up in that top tier.
But that's a must play.
Yeah, I mean my guy that I was saying my rising star this week, Dede Westbrook. I like Dede Westbrook a lot. I'm willing to start him in the playoffs. But if I had a flex position where I'm deciding between Dede Westbrook and Jordy, I'm going Jordy.
All right. Doug Peterson says Zach Ertz has now cleared the concussion protocol and is good to go for Nick Foles and company as the Eagles take on the Giants in New York this weekend. Obviously, this is good news for a player like Nick Foles if you're looking to stream him. I actually just picked Nick Foles up in our Dynasty League about 12 minutes ago.
Congratulations.
And I'm strongly considering playing him over Alex Smith this week.
Ooh.
In the playoffs, because
good luck with that.
Alex Smith is playing the force that is the Los Angeles Chargers defense right now. The Chargers, points given up to quarterbacks over the last 4 weeks, 14, 5, 17, 12.
Yeah, they rank
How many touchdowns have they given up? When's the last time they've given up 2 touchdowns to a quarterback? Do you want to answer me that?
I'm going to say 7 weeks ago.
Week 5. So you are
very close.
Real close. 8 weeks ago.
I just knew it wouldn't be in the last 6.
How many times have they given up 3 on the year? None. I mean, they have been an absolute force. They haven't given up 300 yards passing since week 8.
And this
is
is
the bye week.
This is for the division, and these two teams facing each other. One is
now the game's in Arrowhead. That matters.
Yes,
but
it does matter. But this is the Kansas City Chiefs look like they're on the brink of a collapse, while the Chargers look like they're great. I mean, I don't know that I can get behind playing Nick Foles over Alex Smith. I'll have to look a little deeper today, but you do bring up good points. I mean, the Chargers are the second ranked against quarterback over the last 6 weeks. I don't want to play, and we've seen Alex Smith have a couple of dud games recently.
And a couple of big ones, 51 fantasy points 2 weeks ago. Brooks, are you shaking in your boots at the thought of facing Nick Foles?
Not exactly.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Brooks, you got to lean into it, man. You got to say, yeah.
Oh, don't do it, Andy.
Yeah, he's gonna crush me this week.
That's not
all
Brooks'
right.
way.
Jordan Reed, Byron Marshall, both on IR for the Redskins. Kenny Britt signed to a 2-year contract by the Patriots. This is reminiscent to me of the Michael Floyd deal they made last year, getting some wide receiver depth. They are prone to be injured. I mean, Hogan, Amendola. I'm not sure Kenny Britt will make very much of an impact. We haven't seen Philip Dorsett make much of an impact. I think this is a depth move, and there's no fantasy relevance.
I agree. It's a depth move. The only fantasy relevance to me is that if you're in a dynasty league and you're thinking, hey, maybe Malcolm Mitchell, maybe he can jump out of the shadows. You guys remember that? You guys remember Malcolm Mitchell?
Oh,
the emerging rookie. He's been on IR all year. I would assume Kenny Britt coming in puts a kibosh on his possible return.
Tevin Coleman's not practicing on Tuesday. He's in the concussion protocol. We're going to have to monitor that, but Devonta Freeman could have that backfield to himself. And then Ameer Abdullah is practicing in full, but Jim Caldwell once again kind of equivocated when asked about Ameer Abdullah's availability this week. They expect him to return. He should be good to go, but he also said, you're going to have to wait and see a little bit. So I wonder if there's still a possibility of them using the not 100% argument to keep him out of the lineup. We'll have to monitor. Right now, would you expect him to be in there?
I would expect Ameer Abdullah to be active, which does throw a little bit of cold water on Theo. It'll be the most telling, though. If he was healthy enough, I believe, to play last week, and if he's healthy enough to play this week again, and they sit him, that'll be a clear indication that the future is not there with Abdullah.
All right, let's preview the Thursday night football matchup between the 4-9 Denver Broncos and the 3-10 Indianapolis Colts.
Ooh. Awesome.
But they'll be wearing very colorful jerseys.
Honestly, the Denver Broncos color rush jersey is
Is it orange?
all orange.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Very
love
nice.
it. I love it. Saw a picture today. I was like, yes.
Yeah, I can get on
I
board
hate
with
when
that.
the teams that have the one cut like the Falcons.
Right.
You know, it's like, oh, they're going to be all, and then they come out and they're just white. It's
Yeah.
like you've got a dominant color.
Yeah, I mean,
Wear it.
No, I'm with you, man. The Seahawks color rush jerseys, they're incredible.
This may be the focal point of this matchup.
This
for
is where
fantasy
it will
purposes.
be the best thing you see out there is the jerseys.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got the Broncos that literally ping-ponged between being terrible against Miami and then great last week on defense. I mean, do you start T.Y. Hilton in this matchup? The Broncos defense
Nope.
is
Got
not giving it up to the wide receiver.
Yeah, it's good. When you said, "Hey, we're going to preview it," it's going to say this is going to be a short preview because here's who I'm willing to
Frank
play.
Gore.
Yeah, I
This-
would start Frank Gore.
I'll play for who is he monitor his situation because he was
20?
missing some practice, but I assume that's because he carried the ball about 50,000 times. In the snow game.
20.8 carries per game since week 10, the highest in the league.
High volume because Chuck Pagano is going to ride Frank Gore into the ground, even though he's got an electric rookie Marlon Mack just sitting back there waiting to make plays. So I mean Frank Gore, sure. Baby hands Jack Doyle, yes, because of the matchup. The Denver Broncos are one of those teams that you can exploit the tight end matchup. That's it.
Yeah.
Over on the Denver Broncos, ready for my list? Demaryius Thomas. End of list.
Yeah, it's the same for me.
Yeah, it's really tough because you just don't know what they're going to do with their running backs. C.J. Anderson is talented. If he gets the work, he'll have a great game. But you cannot predict his work. As soon as it looks like, okay, C.J. Anderson's he's done, they're going to give the ball to Devontae Booker, all of a sudden they give it all to C.J. Anderson. There's no rhyme or reason. You cannot trust one of these three running backs. I think one of the three running backs has a decent fantasy game. That's a play in DFS. That's not a play for the fantasy playoffs to put your team you've been working 15, 14 weeks to get to this point. And really, you're in the playoffs, so you probably don't have a Broncos running back.
Fair point. C.J. Anderson tied for 4th in the league in broken tackles with 17.
He's good.
Yeah.
Give him
I'm
the
gonna-
work.
I'm kind of just leaning into this at this point because I just want to hear you guys say how talented this guy is for the rest of his life.
Because he is.
Yeah.
He's a good running back. He's a bad fantasy running
Are
back.
you talking about Ryan Matthews?
Yeah.
Ryan
Right.
Matthews was
yeah,
great.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
out of the league. All right.
Okay.
Without further ado,
So is Jerome Bettis.
Yeah.
Who's pretty
so
good.
is Jerome. He's not pretty good now.
I know. I'm just saying.
Last year, you guys were all up in Ryan Matthews.
Last year.
Yeah.
He's retired, bro.
Okay, all right. All right, we're going to jump into the mailbag. Before we do that, I want to thank today's sponsor, friends of the show, Harry's. You know all about Harry's. What do I love most about shaving with Harry's? Maybe it's the closeness of that blade. Maybe it's the comfortable glide. Maybe it's the consistency of getting those Harry products at the right price. Or maybe it's the fact it's a great gift. This holiday, Harry's is offering custom and limited edition shaving sets that make a perfect gift. Built with your guy in mind, their sets come with German-engineered 5-blade cartridges that provide a close, comfortable shave, foaming shave gel, special limited edition winter chrome or emerald green handles, quite festive. And you can personalize it with engraving. Okay, and as a special offer, we have partnered with Harry's to give you $5 off your order when you go to harrys.com/footballers. It's all packaged in beautifully designed gift boxes that start at just $10. Great for stocking stuffers or even for yourself. This offer is only available for the holidays. So, this holiday, give Harry's and give handsome. Shipping cutoffs in this week, so act now to get your gifts delivered in time. To get a limited edition holiday shave set while supplies last, go to harrys.com/footballers right now. That's harrys.com/footballers.
Hey, Foot Clan. Every year, millions of people receive the least liked gift of all time. Underwear.
That was C.J. Anderson.
But we still give it to our family and our loved ones who just don't want it. But maybe it's not that underwear is the problem. It's the kind of underwear you're giving. Well, let us tell you about MeUndies, the only underwear that makes for an amazing gift. I can tell you firsthand that I love my MeUndies. They are softer than anything you're going to buy in the store. They have all sorts of goodies built in, and the prints are great. You could go with that European men's trunk look that I like, and they've got a naughty or nice collection that you can get there for the ladies. So MeUndies made look, they made underwear the perfect gift that everyone's going to love you for. It's a holiday miracle. This year, don't give underwear, give MeUndies. And you can get an exclusive 20% off of the softest underwear and socks you'll ever wear. Free shipping and 100% satisfaction guarantee. Go to MeUndies.com/footballers. That's MeUndies.com/footballers.
All right, Mike, let's do it.
Mailbag.
Naughty. Nice.
We should mention that because the preview, a lot of that was in jest, but Dante Moncrief is out in case you were hoping to play Dante Moncrief.
In which case, you were already out.
You got to give the people the news.
I'll play Keelan Cole over, obviously over Moncrief now, but even if Moncrief was active.
Keelan Cole or Chester Rodgers?
Keelan Cole.
Yeah, absolutely.
All
right, we're going to jump into the mailbag. If you have a question for us, go to the website, thefantasyfootballers.com, click the Submit a Question button, or you can dial our voicemail hotline, 302-464-TFFB. A reminder, rankings. They'll be up on the website later today, so get ready for Week 15. Let's start with a voicemail question.
Hey, guys. This is Casey from Reno, Nevada, and I have a special teams defense question. I have 3 really good defenses, the Eagles, the Ravens, and the Saints. I'm wondering which is the safest this week and which one has the highest upside. I'm the favorite, but projections are lies, and I have to beat my husband in the first round of the playoffs. Love the show. Thanks again, guys.
Well, that's an important question.
Certainly.
And I think we all are looking at defensive decisions this week. I have the Eagles. They play the Giants in New York.
Mm-hmm.
The Giants are the worst offense in points per game in the entire league. So that is a great matchup, and the Eagles are a great defense. So
and
I would say
they're going to be ramping up in light of their fallen hero, thus my pump the brakes. I really like the Eagles this week.
Yeah, I think they are very safe, and I think they do possess a lot of upside. What about those other two options? Baltimore against Cleveland, though.
It's on the road, but it's Baltimore. They will be down Jimmy Smith, and last week was rough. But I don't read into last week against Deshaun Kaiser, who is a turnover machine. Great opportunity to have a DST score.
Yeah, but then you've got New Orleans at home against Bryce Petty.
I mean, you've got 3 awesome options
I think
here.
that's your actual highest upside. I think your safest is Eagles, and I think your highest upside is Saints D against a – look, you throw any – I know he's not a rookie, but he might as well be. You throw a new quarterback in on the road, that's the difference, right? Eagles are going on the road to New York. The Saints are at home. The Saints are coming off of a defeat, and now you have a situation where you're facing Bryce Petty?
Man.
And Robbie Anderson's banged up?
Yeah, no, I
would say
that's rough. That's a rough decision. I'm going to play the Ravens.
Really?
What?
They are by far
They're
my
the most
third.
dangerous by
They're my
far.
third place.
I'm
No,
playing
they
the
just gave
Ravens.
up 1 million points.
To Big Ben and the
now you've
Steelers.
got Gordon and Kaiser. Kaiser just 3 touchdowns last week. They are the most dangerous by
Without
far.
Jimmy Smith, we have only seen them play 1 poor game, so I'm just worried. Now, I'm not telling people to not play the
Why
Ravens.
would you play them over the safety of the Eagles, third-ranked defense in the league,
against the Giants?
or the Saints, who have been absolutely great? I'm really curious about that.
It's because Kaiser turns the ball over. I know that he has weapons now, but Eli, I just don't see the odds of Eli causing a defensive score happening higher than Deshaun Kaiser.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
They can still rush the passer, and Deshaun Kaiser.
Are they not the riskiest of those 3?
They could be definitely the most volatile because
they just gave up a bunch of points.
Recency bias says Baltimore might not be the best play, but I'm going to read into an entire year of dominance.
Yeah, look, it's a good problem to have, Casey. There's no bad option here. I think you're going to be happy with whatever you get, but I personally would rank them Eagles, Saints, Ravens.
And I'd rank them Saints, Eagles, Ravens.
I think you got to put it on the
Whoa,
board.
we got to put this one on there.
Waterbed.
We got a head-to-head defensive. I think this is our first ever water bet on
and on the
defenses.
season, The Ravens are the 2nd ranked in fantasy. Eagles are the 4th ranked, and the Saints are the 7th ranked. So, as Jason said, no bad options. And now we'll see who's going to be right. All right. This question comes in from Justin Ingram.
Hey, Justin.
Is that Ingram with an I or Ingram with an E? I just want to know who he's related to.
He would be related to Mark.
Oh,
okay. All right.
Oh, hi, Mark.
If the guy I'm playing texted the league chat to pick up 3 quarterbacks left because I lost Wentz, is this collusion? I'm also clearly the best, and everyone wants to see me go down. That is
It's not
technically collusion, but
it's wrong.
It's wrong.
It's black hat.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's Bush League.
Bad form.
It's bad form.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm getting quite a few questions about this.
Run home, Jack.
Run home,
like someone
Jack.
on Twitter has said, hey, if all the people who are eliminated from the playoffs, they all have a higher waiver priority, and they're going to pick up quarterbacks so that the person who lost Wentz can't find someone. Is that wrong?
No,
not
at all.
Not if it just happens.
Not to me. I don't. Everyone can play.
Yes.
It is colluding if your opponent reaches out to everybody to do this. And if they comply, they are colluding.
That's what we're talking about right now, though.
If they comply, they are colluding with your opponent. That is the definition of collusion. If there are multiple people colluding together to one objective, that's collusion. So, yes, that would be wrong. I think it is collusion, and it is wrong.
So you're changing it to it is collusion.
It is actually collusion. I mean, that's the definition. You are colluding with someone else for your gain in the league, other franchises, against one team.
The suckiest part about this, the absolute worst part about this, is if that opponent did not do this Bush League Black Hat thing, other people could have still picked him up.
Yes.
You could have been fine. But now the other players, if they pick him up, it seems like they're placating the owner that was, the squeaky wheel. I don't like it.
Yeah. And, I mean, there are probably some less overt collusion ways to get this done. I mean, we've seen things.
Andy's the master of
We've
this.
seen this in our leagues or some, Jason does it to me.
I do
Here's
it
what
all
Andy
the
would do.
time.
He posts some picture of somebody
Yes.
and mocks and trolls me.
Here's what Andy would have done to handle this situation.
Tell me.
He would not have said, hey, guys, make sure you pick up the quarterbacks to block the Wentz owner from getting a replacement. You would have put up a picture of Carson Wentz
Yes.
and said, I'm sorry for your loss, and just kind of
Good luck grabbing a quarterback this week.
Yeah,
something like
that.
Yeah.
But
That would have been the line. That would have been as far as I go.
Wink, the nudging of the other players to.
Yeah. But you want to win your league on the up and up. Look, they've already lost Wentz. The pain, the damage has been done. All right.
Just go beat the guy.
Yeah, just go beat him. Go beat him and Deshaun Kaiser, whoever he has.
If you can get a quarterback.
If you can get a quarterback.
Right. Well, there's plenty. This is a good week. I looked at who I was going to pick up to block the Carson Wentz owner I was playing against this week, and I was like, there's like
There's too
6
many.
guys out there that so I didn't even play the game.
The best is when you do that and you force them into playing the better player.
Oh,
because that happens.
It happens all the time. All the time. Oh, I'm going to make you play Kaiser, and then Kaiser goes off for 40.
I mean, is there any other sport like this where you're in week 15 and you're still not sure whether certain teams are good or not? I mean,
No.
Look what just happened with Miami and New England, right? And look at our last 6-week defensive stats versus the on the year numbers. Is Baltimore a really good team?
Is Carolina a good defense?
Questions.
Is San Francisco a bad defense?
yes.
Yeah. Who's the favorite?
they-
Who's the
their
favorite in
run
the
defense
NFC
is
right
pretty
now?
good,
Is
though.
it New Orleans because Philly
Minnesota.
went out? Okay, you got Minnesota. I mean,
Green Bay?
No.
Case Keenum. All right. Dominique in Indianapolis said, what do you think about the idea of a weekly payout league for the top scorer each week to keep people from quitting mid-season or during the playoffs?
Love it. This is how my money league runs.
Honestly, that's
there's-
great motivation.
There is it's obviously not high, but every single week, the weekly points leader gets a small reward, and it's fantastic. I'm out in that league. I'm out of the playoffs. I'm still setting my lineup. I'm still picking up waivers to play.
To go get that money.
Yeah.
Every single player I've ever heard that plays in one of those leagues, they speak very highly of it, and they all love it. I think it's a great method for money leagues.
Yeah. Just distribute the money a little bit differently than winner take all.
Yep.
and you've got more motivation to stay involved. All right, Mitch LaHaye from Facebook. Is there a correlation between the amount of beard you have equaling your luck in fantasy football playoffs? Mike?
You have the most beard. You need to
I don't win every single league, so I'll say no. But it definitely ups your handsome quotient.
I think
I'll leave you there.
Here's what I would say, just based on history. I think the more beard you have, the more luck you have in off-season dynasty signings. Because last year I feel like you picked up a few guys, Rex Burkhead and Mike Gillislee, before they were anything, and then all of your players.
To be fair, it really balanced out because Gillislee is completely useless, and I gave away Kenyon Drake for free.
Well, that was just your fault not trading him high.
Chris Singleton.
Chris
Singleton has a handle on Twitter that's @pancakes.
Wait. Oh, there's a 4.
Yeah.
So I was going to be very impressed if you had just @pancakes.
I'm still impressed. Since I'm out of the playoffs, should I purposely lose my last 2 matchups to get a better draft spot next year? Draft order is reverse of standings from the previous year. Perfect question is a follow-up to that last one.
That is a rough situation that
Just think about your fans. Think about your ticket sales. How are you going to be able to support this team?
You need to toe the line, and yes, you should. So here's what I mean. You need to start a roster, and you need to start a roster that makes sense. You cannot possibly, be playing a guy who is a third stringer just to have someone in there.
But what if you have Julio and you would then be benching Julio?
No, that's what I'm saying. You can't do things like that. That's outright wrong. But if you're going to make those tiebreakers like you make every week, maybe take the tiebreaker you think. I think he probably has a worse game. I'm fine with that. Now, that being said, it's weird.
That's a human nature argument.
That
right
your
there.
reverse order of standings even factors in the playoffs.
Yeah,
usually most leagues like that, the teams that don't make the playoffs, their standings are finished. You don't add to your record in those playoff weeks.
Yeah, through week 13 is where you should make the cutoff.
All right, Evan S. wants to know, do you play Cousins, who's playing for a contract, or Bortles, who's trending up? Who do you play this week?
Man, I lean Kirk Cousins. He's at home. Arizona, they give up points. They give up fantasy points. Bortles, I think, is a fine pivot play here, but I'm still going to go with Cousins.
All right, fair enough. Let's go Christopher in Ohio. My 10-team home league does a 2-week, 2-game playoff. He says he hates it. It cost him the championship last year. Anyway, I am losing by 20. I've got to score big. Would you start Jordy Nelson with Aaron Rodgers back or Devin S. Scrumptious?
Man.
What would you do?
I'm going to talk to the Jordy enthusiast in the middle of the room here. This one's for you, Jason.
This one's for me. So it's Jordy or Devin S. Funchess?
Yes.
I'm playing Funchess.
I am playing Funchess as well here.
It's a great matchup.
They're both sides of the ball here in the same game is a very good matchup. There are still questions. There are questions with Rodgers and Jordy. I am 100% fine starting Jordy, but there's no reason to bench Devin Funchess because you have such a good option on your team. You do get to hopefully wait 1 week and play Jordy next week if you had made a mistake. But I don't think Funchess is going to cost you anything because Green Bay, they have been horrendous against wide receivers. Green Bay is on the road. Devin S. Scrumptious.
There you go.
He's been great.
He's been great. No reason to stop.
A little bit of a follow-up. Seth Tupper from Twitter. In a redraft league, how do you punish collusion if someone is caught to have colluded? Is it a fine? Is it a loss of a draft pick? Do you boot him out?
Here's the toughest thing about collusion is having actual proof that it's happened.
Right.
If you have actual proof that it's happened, I would boot him out the league.
Yeah, if you know for sure that teams were actually conspiring with one
another. These are not guys you want to, or gals, these are not people you want to play fantasy football with.
I agree, but you can't do that on alleged or on
right.
This smells like collusion because then
I think you have a little bit of your punishment in proportion to their attitude about being caught in that too. If it's something where they're very apologetic and they're never going to do it again, blah blah blah. I mean, maybe you change that reaction.
And maybe the size of the offense. If it was like, for instance, you said, Andy, that this was collusion. The first question here of, if a guy's telling people to pick up quarterbacks, okay,
Yeah,
you could say that's collusion, but whatever. I wouldn't even punish that other than just saying you're a dumb, stupid jerk man.
Yeah, and you can't unring a bell sometimes. If somebody makes that post and saying go pick up the quarterbacks, and you go, that's collusion, you're fined $5. Everybody's read the post. It's just like, and then it's, do you penalize people for signing them? That it's a slippery slope. Play with good people. I think Mike's right. All right, this question is, who would be some good stashes right now for next year in keeper leagues that might be on the waiver wire?
It's funny. I kind of just mentioned this, but I was speaking more to dynasty terms. But it's really the same answer for a redraft. Is you need to be looking at players who have expiring contracts or their teammates have expiring contracts, and they look like they have a chance.
Do you have
to
any of
move
those names? I mean, Peyton Barber could still be out there.
Yeah, I would grab Peyton Barber.
Do you grab a guy like LeGarrette Blount?
No.
Who may not come back to Philadelphia next year?
No,
He's gonna be 32,
but
right?
Corey Clement, absolutely
Yes.
pick him up. It could be just J.J. and Corey Clement as the main people next year.
So it goes both directions. People that are leaving a franchise,
absolutely.
and people that are sitting on that roster like Corey Clement that need depth chart changes ahead of them to be relevant, but it could just happen.
Yeah, like in James Conner, he could be owned as the Le'Veon Bell handcuff, but reminder, Le'Veon Bell is playing on a franchise contract. I think that the odds are Lev Bell is back in Pittsburgh, but there's a world where he's not.
Right.
And then you would have the starting running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Marlon Mack.
Oh, Marlon Mack would be a great pickup, but I assume he's
signed.
very owned.
Keep an eye on rookies that struggled this year or were irrelevant. Maybe
Right.
they had hype around them. You're thinking about
John Ross
in Cincinnati,
Davis.
Corey Davis, Josh Reynolds. There are a bunch of players that are probably on the waiver wire that depth chart thing could happen to them. And if a team's invested a high draft capital on a player, they're going to give them every shot to prove it. Now, they might end up like Brashad Perryman, but at least you've taken that shot. And
They might end up like Kenyon Drake right now, who is, is a guy we loved coming out of college last year, didn't get the opportunity. So it looked like he was done, and now, maybe he's the starter next year.
Yep. And the thing is in the offseason, guys, you can trade promise and hype. You don't have to trade production.
Right.
Brashad Perryman's been traded in many leagues, especially
Yes,
in dynasty
he has.
leagues this last offseason. Wasn't based on production. It was based on the hope of it. So if one of those rookies, he's going to be starting this year, bam, you got a trade asset.
I'll jump in. If it's a smaller keeper league where you don't have a bunch of keepers, look for all the studs that got injured early in the year.
Oh,
See if
great.
They
Great
got
call.
dropped.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
Allen Robinson types.
Julian
Yeah,
Edelman.
There's a long list.
Maybe Edelman. Yeah.
All right, John in Port. Oh, first of all, we got a tweet, or actually this was on Facebook. Mario August Altamare, he just sent a picture of the real goat, and it's Oreos milk chocolate covered. What do you think, Mike? You're not cool with that either. That makes sense. White chocolate, milk chocolate.
Send me that dark chocolate, and I'm all about that life.
Okay.
Or just a good old-fashioned double stuff Oreo.
Yeah.
That's the true. That's
What
the
a
true
vanilla
king.
answer, Mike. What a vanilla answer. You're more of a briefs guy, going just OG Oreo.
Did I say OG Oreo? Jason, let's check the tape.
Double stuff is
Double
now.
stuff is the OG.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
But
That's in the archives.
I
for the last
don't
20
see that
years.
as completely briefsy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, let's be honest here. I'm the boxer brief guy. Andy's the briefs guy. You are the Speedo guy. You're the European of the bunch.
In 1975, Nabisco released their double stuff Oreo.
Ooh, that's
So your briefs are on, Mike.
I
Over the
disagree.
Speedo.
I
Yeah.
disagree.
Your briefs
strongly.
are on.
When was the original Oreo created?
1913.
Okay.
Oh,
okay.
okay.
A 60-year gap between the double stuff?
You're almost at the 60-year gap or 40-year gap now.
No. I
right.
stand by it.
Whatever, you will. You always go down in the Flames. All right, Chris.
That is my style.
Chris in Austin, Texas. Should I bench Brandon Cooks? Tom Brady stinks
No.
during the fantasy playoffs.
No.
Mike, what were you looking up yesterday?
It was a tweet from Andy Behrens of Yahoo, and he called it like the dark secret or whatever of Tom Brady, and it's just this list of Tom Brady's performances in the fantasy playoff time period. It's,
Weeks 14, 15, 16 over the last couple of years.
It's been bad.
It's been bad. However, it was a great tweet, really neat to look at, but it was very selective. It was like this year week 15 was bad.
Yeah,
this year week 14 was bad. This year week 16.
Yeah, but it's a playoff situation.
Sure.
And that's
My point is it's not all of those weeks. It's not like the end of the year Brady gets bad. And as far as Brandon Cooks, you have 2 bad games in a row, but the 3 right before it were fine. This week in Pittsburgh, it's going to be a high-scoring affair. I don't think you.
No, I play
Brandon
Brandon Cooks, and I'm not a big Brandon Cooks fan, but I'd play him.
Matt in Japan.
What?
Oh!
Bonjour.
I was waiting
Sure.
for it, guys. You really let me down. This is the semifinals. I'm the underdog. I have Allen and Julio starting. So Keenan Allen, Julio Jones. Do I flex Hill, as in Tyreek, or do I flex Crabtree?
Oh.
That's an easy one for me, actually.
Is
It is as well.
It's Michael Crabtree.
Crabtree?
Hill was almost my pump the brakes.
Ooh.
He didn't really have a good week last week, so that would have been
You're
a tough,
calling
tough
him
pump.
over the hill?
I'm calling him Chargers.
Yeah, the Chargers have been really rough. I
Now
think
Hill
this
can
is-
win you a week in a split second. I mean,
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to die in the playoffs.
I think
So
you
I
can
didn't
still
pump
play
the
him, but
brakes.
yeah, I mean, Crabtree has a great matchup this week. Plays Dallas, and I don't think now we don't have any information about Amari Cooper,
Right.
but with him leaving,
Actually, the latest report that I saw said that Amari Cooper has been very bad this year. So I think we have enough information to know that Amari Cooper is not a threat to Michael Crabtree being good.
that's the latest report.
Yeah.
Dr. James Andrews.
Dr. James Andrews says Amari Cooper
I
has
had him in my fantasy league, and he stinks.
I do have a bit of an update for you. Joe Mixon remains in the league's concussion protocol Wednesday.
Oh, that's
Concussed
good.
9 days ago, and Gio Bernard got 85% of snaps in the last game.
Gio Bernard is very well likely a guy that could have been cut in leagues that picked him up last week, assuming that Joe Mixon would
possible.
be back.
That being
Definitely
said,
look for him.
he's a terrible play against Minnesota. Not a terrible play, a
he's
startable
just-
play. But
yeah, he has such a great floor because of the pass catching.
Yeah.
So I would still play him if Mixon's out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would certainly drop it like it's hot. Hey, Foot Clan. Really important. This is a survey that is really important to the show. If you have an extra minute, do us a huge favor. We do this once a year. Please go to surveypod.net. So surveypod.net. Apparently the .com was taken to take a very short anonymous survey about today's episode. It would be a big help to the show. We would all appreciate it. Again, one more time, that is surveypod.net for the quick survey to help the show.
yep, it's quick, it's easy. We're almost at show 500, guys.
Oh my goodness!
Friday?
Is it
Friday is 500.
this Friday?
500 episodes of this podcast.
Who would have ever?
What have
believed
you
it?
learned over that time, Mike?
Not much.
I've learned that that fantasy football is the most fun connecting community out there, and that you need each other when the predictability goes out the window and bad beats are had.
Mike's gone from what, man bun to what is this, man fun? What do you got going on above your head here?
My hair goes up.
It's just
Who's the guy from Parks and Rec that we were talking about?
I got run over by a Lexus.
Ralphio.
Ralphio.
John
John
Ralphio.
Ralphio.
I was gonna throw out Ralph Macchio, but I knew that was very incorrect because that's the Karate Kid.
Is there anything you could do in a fashion or hair sense that you would, you do it and then you would be embarrassed by it?
No, because I've had a mullet
Yeah.
recently.
I was going to say that wasn't that long ago. Jason, have you learned anything over the last 498 episodes of this show?
Other than what I just said, if we're talking hair, I learned that I am not capable of growing new hair. It's going quickly.
You didn't know that before 498?
I'll say this. By show 1,000, I will most likely have a shaved head. Almost for sure.
Oh. Almost certainly?
Almost certainly.
By show 1,000?
Shaved hair, shaved head, I'll keep the beard, and I'll have to start working out. At that point,
Would
if
you-
you've got a shaved head, you need to you got to have some muscles with it.
What do they call the mustache that goes down?
The Fu Manchu? Handlebar mustache.
Well, no, not a handlebar, because a handlebar is the ones that curl, right?
No, I always
I'm talking about like it goes down
like
the
a
sides of
biker.
your mouth.
like a biker.
Yeah. What kind of goal can you set, Jason, that the Foot Clan can help us hit to where you will go bald on top with that mustache? Because that's what I want to see. I want to see you looking like half fireman.
1 billion downloads.
1 billion.
Where are we at right now? Like
Not that close to it.
60 million?
Not that close to it. So, yeah, we'll do something special for
Like the Hulk Hogan.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
okay.
exactly what I mean.
All right,
There's got to be a better name for that.
I'm looking it up.
Brooks?
Horseshoe.
Brooks, what is that?
I thought it was handlebar.
Is it a
before.
handlebar?
No, I've confirmed. I believe is the horseshoe mustache.
There was a time in which I thought that the handlebar is what I thought.
You were
It's
yeah,
the
you were
The
curly
handlebar is the curly edges.
Yes.
And I've always said that the adventurous one would do the scuba.
Oh, a full
And that's
scuba?
a scuba is if you go down from the sideburns and you go around the top and bottom of the mouth as though you got a scuba mouthpiece in.
That sounds very hip.
Mike, you should give that a go.
I'll think about it.
This is the kind of stuff you're going to get here for the next 502 shows till we hit 1,000 and Jason is bald. That's what this countdown's going to be now.
Yeah, maybe at that point I'll give that as a reason because my wife won't let me shave my head yet, and I keep telling her I have no hair. And she's like, "No, I'll tell you when it's time." And I'm just gonna when we get to show 1,000, I'm gonna say, "Hey, I said this a long time ago that I would do this at show 1,000, and there's
We'll
no
just
looking
shave
back."
it on the air.
Ooh, I like it.
Will it be a somber moment? Like, will your wife walk up and just take you by the hand and say, "It's time,"
Yes.
and then hand you your Harry's razor?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what we'll do.
Nice.
Do you have to, like, if you're going from hair to bald, do you have to, like, how do you get the tan to match? Never mind.
Yeah, there is no tan. That's the one nice thing. When I lose my hair, it will be just as white as the rest.
All right. Well, we will catch you on tomorrow's show. Again, thank you for supporting this podcast along the way, and we are very appreciative, always thinking about you guys and how you've supported us and how we can improve this show and make it better for you, and we're very excited for the future. I'll tell you that. Tomorrow, we'll get into the matchups. Again, pay attention to the rankings today on the site. And please go to draft.com/ballers to play some DFS with us this week. Take care.
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Join our fantasy football community on jointhefoot.com and follow us on Twitter @TheFFBallers.